Week 1 of Season 4 continues, and it's our first weekend match in the series. New maps, new characters, and new stories to be written. Welcome to the Crown Cup Champion Division, where our two teams this evening will be MRG Garnet versus Don't Cross the Line for their first action of the campaign. My name is Scott Cass, and alongside me will be Nat Niff throughout the course of the evening, and we will, of course, have Ebroth behind the cameras as well. But without further ado, Nat Niff, how are we feeling about tonight's action, the second stream of the year?
It's really exciting to see both these teams, come into the forefront. From what I've been seeing going over the team sheets, it seems to be two kind of very different styles of play here, but both of them being focused around dive, just definitely a bit more of a different angle. Winston versus Bull, Diva as well, like all these heroes, just a lot of good matchups. I've got to mix up. That's a thing with Overwatch. There's been a great development recently. It's just how many different new styles of play, because yes, there'll always be a meta. There'll always be picks that are generally more popular and perceived as stronger than the rest. But when it comes to Overwatch, when it comes to all levels of play, you can make anything work with the right coordination and the right skill set, which both these teams, we've seen a couple of these players in the past before, some names standing out to when we get to rosters in a minute, but overall, definitely seem to see what they decide to bring out, because again, it's a pretty chaotic, pretty open meta overall at the time being. But that said, have to first give a shout out, of course, to all our returning and hopefully new viewers coming to the stream. And if you aren't able to see this match live, all the VODs will be uploaded to YouTube as soon as possible. And of course, to Face It for allowing us to host these matches as smooth as possible. That said, I'm looking through some of these names, some exciting ones to see here, some also just exciting to see names you don't recognize. But Cass, who are the names that are jumping out to you? What are you kind of leaning towards in terms of maybe any predictions for the results of this upcoming bout?
Well, it is looking very interesting in terms of the matchups. And we've had a couple of players who are on the same team. They both claimed that they both prefer Sojourn as their character. So I think there's going to be a little bit of inter-team scrapping. That'll be on the MRG Garnet side of things. But of course, we've got both of those teams where we're heading into the season and anything can really happen. We know how they played in the old meta. We don't know, though, how they play in the new meta. Everything could have switched up. They could suddenly become very, very good. And as you can see right here, these are the characters they've chosen as their favorites. And I mentioned that Sojourn was chosen by 2. That was actually their most played characters. You've got just a number of different metas. It's, as you say, it's so very open. And so we could be getting some brand new combinations, some brand new innovations.
It's like we have on the screen, I read on their favorite comp style, that's me Winston, but I saw a Reinhardt in there. It's been quite a while since I've seen a good, real, proper Ryan comp come and shine through, just because of how fast-paced Overwatch is. You have to be equally fast. When you lug around a big hammer and a big shield, it can be difficult to make that work. But with a Sojourn and a Tourbillon kind of angle, like a very front-loaded, heavy DPS style, I can see that be, if pulled up with the right rotations, with the right, synergy as well, very crucial across all comps, but especially with those Ryan styles, you have to play behind their shields. Really interesting to see. That said, playing against a team that seemed to be favoring Bull, you might have, a little bit of an advantage having for your head coach for the team MRG Garnet, Dumda, as I'm pretty sure is a fairly strong Bull player himself. So hopefully that will give them a little bit of a leg up versus Don't Cross the Line. That said, they have a damn training bot in this lineup. So really, what can they not use? They're putting out stuff that no one's ever seen before here. Old guard backline as well, Arna, Brig, Ash. The combination of those dynamites, the Ball Slam, the Arnades, is just beyond lethal. If you let them get that set up, even if you have a cleanser on those effects, you're going to be hit by all the rest in a row. So really interesting to see those two styles clashing. That said, of course, the bans will be in effect. The map picks can also have a big sway in that. But overall, I'm a big Bull believer, I'll be honest. I do love a good Bull team. Personally, as a Kiriko player, you get to run around, you get to be very active as a support, get some nice flanks, get some good aggressive plays here. So I'm not sure what our chat prediction is saying, but personally, so far, just because I'm a big fan of the Bull, I'm going to have to say that Don't Cross the Line, take this maybe in a close 3-2. What about you, Kotska? What are your thoughts?
Well, of course,
maybe some early predictions.
Don't Cross the Line are going to be carried by that training bot. No, it's going to be very interesting. I think if they do bring out the Reinhardt combination, then it's going to be a very difficult matchup. for especially for MRG Garnet. But if they can use the Reinhardt to full effect, they can control the pace of the match. And from there, it's very difficult to fight it back. But the Wrecking Ball would be almost the perfect counter for that, because it would be they would be yanking it back. They would be starting playing the quick plays, and you can you can use the Ash for rotation. You can use the Ana just for trying to keep up the energy, keep up the fighting, even if they are a background character. But just because, I mean, you've gone with Don't Cross the Line, so I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to play devil's advocate. I'm going to go with MRG Garnet, purely based on the fact that you've gone for their Wrecking Ball. But I really do think that, you know, you get to this level, you know how to play Reinhardt properly. It's just about executing it.
Yeah, that said, though, maybe here's something to change our mind, because we were told before the stream about a mystery Brig tech that we've not even seen yet. We've not seen the wonders, because Brig into a Reinhardt is going to have to be doing some real creative magic to make stuff work. By being told, we have a clip of some tech that the player himself has discovered or mastered. Not particularly sure on the semantics to use there. But
free real estate.
Again, you matching around to the ball. You can see it here.
Place.
I'm so ready. Brick Tech is always
Nice
ready.
shot.
Tracer.
Okay, wow.
No,
No one saw that.
Can I change my answer? Can I change? Oh. I think the clip must have been cut short there. Maybe like there was a boot kill followed there or something, but I don't know what. That's. Have you ever seen that take before? I personally haven't. So that's got to count for something. That's really got to count for something.
Do your research, watch the clips, is all I'll say. I'm glad I wasn't the one talking about it.
It's kept a secret.
No, definitely. It was. I mean, you can get your mistakes out the way early, and you can have a great matchup. That could be the way that we could do. But I mean, we've seen, as I mentioned, we've seen one broadcast so far this season. We've seen a couple of matches coming in, and this will, of course, be the second one of this season. But let's have a look at how the bracket stacks up after our first matches in the Champion Division, and it will be APL Terra, EC Eclipse, NA Team, PYLD, Pangolins, Mythical, MPRG, Berlin Monkeys, and APL Damosh in the one side, who have all of their victories. Of course, many teams still to play, but we have had 14 teams. We have had 7 matchups. This will be our 8th.
Yeah, I mean, some returning names there across the board. We're saying NA Team has been a team that have slowly risen their way kind of up through each kind of tournament, each iteration of Crown Cup, through each division. I'm playing in Rookie Division, and now coming up, obviously, into the Challenger Division there. But looking first at, I mean, it's in our teams I can recognize some absolutely brilliant names across the board. I have to say, I'm always just impressed by the artistry, the true passion in the logos as well. It's just great to see. Some orgs coming in is obviously MRG, APL having filled in competent rosters, San Francisco, the real San Francisco Overwatch League coming in as well. You start to see their game when it comes out. But back to the game at hand. The first map pick from MRG is going to be the Ilios, which is an interesting dynamic when you consider these two team styles of play. You seem to be looking at a Reinhardt and a Winston kind of angle with the typical Lucio Kiriko from the side of MRG versus that Bull Arna Brig from the side of Don't Cross the Line here. Ilios, I mean, it makes sense for both of these teams, right? But like Ryan, London Spitfire used to be very, very dominant on this team, like harkening back to Overwatch League days. Bull as well, lots of high ounces of mobility, lots of health backs to kind of feast around to keep being that nuisance and pest to the backline here. But if you had to say one of the two teams you think that might favor more of, the Winston and the Ryan versus the Bull, who have you got your money on?
Oh, I mean, it's just got to be about that air move. It's got to be about Winston. I mean, he's got so much more rotation, I think, around the point than the other two. So I think I'd back that. I think you can play a Wrecking Ball very right in this scenario. I just don't think Reinhardt will suit Ilios. So it's very interesting to see them bring that out straight away. Maybe what they're doing is they're waiting for a late Reinhardt play, or maybe they're just duking us out and they're not going to bring out Reinhardt at all. But Ilios, certainly an interesting first matchup.
Yeah, I mean, like when we look at historically, or maybe not historically, because rather historically, looking on Spitfire with the old sim bashing strategies, but that again is a bit of an old guard kind of look. When you now think to the future, like Wrecking Ball, Crazy Raccoons, obviously the pinnacle of that example, Bull, Ash, lots of long sight lines, lots of long angles for your Ana, for your Ashe to snipe down. That Ana perk rather with the headshot is absolutely nasty. And when you get to that late scaling, entry into your Ana's kit, they can become a hyper carry, just headshot after headshot, no fall off, 150 something damage across the entire map essentially. Of course, Lucio Kiriko, a pretty nice counter into that combo. Ooh, big guns out of the way straight away, pretty much. Wrecking Ball, they know that don't cross the line, that is their bread and butter, and it's already been taken off the ball. They know the strength of that hero. And the Freya ban as well, also very interesting. A good pick into more of the typical dive tanks, especially into a Winston as well. Freya can really shred those and punish those tanks that like to take their time to set up, to make their engages, because you can't commit when a Freya is just fully looking at you. And even if you do, they'll be off in the sky, having a great time, peppering you from above. And that's gone now. So it's going to be Ashe, Sojourn most likely for the hit scan option, maybe even a Casty if you want to try and play a more heavy brawl pocket style, or to bait the Casty and, go and try and trade the backline. But two very impactful bans, especially on this map, out of the way early. To me, Kotska, that screams that both these teams want a strong start, not only to this whole season, this being their first game, but also to this match in particular. They're going straight out of the gate, all guns blazing.
Yeah, start as you mean to go on, I guess, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing here today. They're going to be starting as they hope to mean to go on, and we will wait to see how they approach this matchup. As in fact, we're going to have a sub out for Don't Cross the Line, and it will be the Wrecking Ball player Guildmaster not taking part. Instead, it'll be Degree jumping in and favors main support, but I think might be playing a little bit out of role.
So it looks like we might even have a situation where Degree is coming in as the main support, but I see as well that Palps there has their most played hero as the Reinhardt, the Brig player, but all the Ana player, they're both Ana players, excuse me, might also then take up the tank role, that mantle themselves. So interesting flexibility, very interesting that, inflexible in some sense, where if Bull is gone, your tank is also gone with it. But I have to see here what the picks are. It's going to be, in fact, Palps coming in on that Queen. Oh, it's been a while since I've seen that ball as a treat. Pretty strong into the Winston as well, with that shotgun and that knife, able to really punish a Winston if you don't get that aggressive tempo in. And, that first kind of kill, the shout also makes that extra difficult. This will be really interesting here. It's going to be a matchup between, can the Queen get that super aggressive hit in with probably a Genji or a Tracer following him with their Queen shout, or can the Winston set up, get a good timing with their Sojourn's rail to get an assassination kill with the help of a bubble, and also that Tracer on the side right here. Tracers on both sides. It's been a while since we've seen that. The recent dominance never has, but the match has started, the triple yet to unlock, the fight is already brewing.
It certainly is. The map still 10 seconds to go before we get onto it, and nobody even has jumped onto it because they're all just too focused on fighting each other. The Don't Cross the Line just really going hyper aggressive, hyper early, trying to rotate into MRG Garnet's area, and has managed to, but the Lucio play just to knock a couple of the plays back, just to ruin a bit of the time that they have. And it's going to be Don't Cross the Line to take the point to start off with.
Yeah, if there's anything about this Don't Cross the Line comp, it is going to be speed. The double speed with Lucio Amp, timed as well, or in combination, or followed up with by the Queen shout, really is going to be what you use. And you see them setting up so early here. They want to get hit on this backline, on this Sojourn, on this Kiriko, force out resources. That said, Poke forcing the point. Will they retreat, or will they try and surge in and catch when they will again? Kiriko first pick.
Yeah, it certainly is, and Kiriko's going to be down, and we're going to be looking at a very, very, very defensive Winston play here. I think it's going to be all the other characters trying to tank for the Winston while they just go around and they try to tank the damage. It's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to play this one, because at the moment it doesn't appear to be the case that the Winston is actually going to want to attack. At the moment, it's going to be a very defensive play, a number of them from Poke, of course, in the Winston, and just trying to hide behind walls, trying to hide behind everything, not going in too aggressive. Don't Cross the Line, very much in control.
Oh, I mean, Poke just goes in though. Like you've seen them, they're just staying in range of the Queen of the Sojourn, getting, well, ironically poked out before they get their engagement. They're just being caught off guard. They know the Queen will set up super early every single time, but look at them hounding them with their front doors practically. They need to be using their high grounds. They have a confidence perfectly high grounds, but they're not able to get access to them because of how aggressively Don't Cross the Line are playing. That said, Kitsune Rush came through across the line, unable to be matched by MRG Garnet as well. They only have a Pulsum to work with, close to a beat, but that's the opening pick you need to be a hero play when you're down in ults.
Certainly is Baptiste getting the knockdown of Imagine, so it's going to be briefly then one player down, and it's going to look very good though for Don't Cross the Line, despite the fact they're missing that one player. It might be contested into overtime, but they're into 90% now, and that is going to be Degree getting a knockdown. All of MRG Garnet's side have just been killed, and that is going to be it for the first point. It goes the way of Don't Cross the Line.
Yeah, I mean, ult's thrown out as a victory that practically from Don't Cross the Line. MRG Garnet not able to get either support ults online, just constantly getting first picked as well is, you know, a big testament to Don't Cross the Line. These backline are especially slippery with the amp, with the boot, with the speed, you know, the TP as well, the cleanse. MRG Garnet are kind of just playing the game how Don't Cross the Line want them to. They're walking slowly into their setups. They're not taking the high grounds. The one thing, you know, that Winston unequivocally has the advantage over versus the Queen. That said, MRG Garnet gonna try and sort things up here. If they can't go around the Queen, just go through them. Rhine, Tor, Bap. This is all about brute and raw force to dislodge this Queen, to disrupt them. That said, you have no, you've lost rather that utility of the cleanse to deny the majority of the Queen's hit, especially the ultimate. And you are going to have to be hyper vigilant of these flanks and reach, hyper vigilant of the angles around you. You need to keep as much as you can. Don't cross the line, all 5-man stacked in front of you. Right now, this fighting cage is exactly that MRG Garnet.
Yeah, they've got MRG Garnet in the corner, and they can really start the pressure right now. Reisu not able to do much in the way of coming through and attacking, not needing to do much in the way of coming through and attacking, as it's very much advantage to Don't Cross the Line at the moment in this control point. And they're just backing them into the corner, they're just backing them inside, and they're just avoiding it at this point in time, just avoiding MRG Garnet getting anywhere near the point. And this is exactly the way they need to play. The Reinhardt does come out to try and challenge, to try and push back, because I think they went a little bit too defensive early on with the Winston in the first matchup. But once again, they can't seem to get Poke to get onto the point enough. So Poke is getting onto the point with about quarter health, which is not enough for them to do. And it's just really not going to work for MRG Garnet. They need a change of strategy.
Yeah, retaking it as well. You cannot be caught off guard anymore by Don't Cross the Line going aggressive. You see them already eyeing them up on their walk up. MRG Garnet have a super strong comp in terms of their defense, in terms of their raw numbers, but they can't just bunker themselves in an angle where they get shot from behind. A Pulsum's on the fourth lamp already, and there's the kill. Abaplat just walked all the way in, and again, MRG Garnet are being caught off guard. They weren't expecting this early aggression, they weren't set up for it, and by all stacking so close together, they're letting all these angles get around them and just assassinate them before they can get into their comfort zone, before they can get onto the point where they are going to be stronger than Don't Cross the Line. Now they're going to be walking into a Queen ult, an overclock around the corner, a damn Kyriot as well. Guardian's going to have a massive beat. Yes, they're going to have some ults in response as well, but again, can they get them online before Don't Cross the Line? Get the kills, because right now that's been the issue. They've been surging on forward, unstopped, uncaring for any resistance in their face. And what an ult.
That is unbelievable. That's likely to be the play of the game from Papa Peltz, who heads onto a 10-play kill streak, and wow, that is an incredible play. As you say, absolutely decimated, and that is going to be most likely match point for Don't Cross the Line. They're going to be 2-0 up, and that is such an incredible play. And well, this is the sort of levels we're expecting.
Oh, the attempt was made there from the Genji and MRG Garnet to get onto that point rather with the blade at the end, but really just a different level of play, a different whole expectation of the game, right? MRG Garnet kind of thought they could, you know, wander on in, chill out, play the game how they want. When Don't Cross the Line, they make their statement. They are surging on forward, they're playing the Queen how you need to play it. The Rhine comp, though, it's so rigid in terms of having to just rely on that frontline potential, relying on your shield value and being able to burst the Queen. But the queen wasn't even given that chance. Like the queen has such a strong power spike with her shout, with her axe. But the issue is you want to be able to sustain that or force that out before you can die to it, essentially. And once that's gone, that's your time to go and that's your time to make the aggression. But every single time, it was just that first blow, that first strike that knocked them down to the floor. So really, you can see why they say they favor the bull comp, because I imagine a bull comp there would look absolutely wonderful, right? Like, yes, the queen can do all she wants, but she can't fly at the bull. She can't fly at your backline. That you can play a lot safer. I don't feel the need to walk it with a tank as much. So it's a great ban and a great play on this first map here from Don't Let That Sink. No, don't let that sink in. That's the other term of phrase. Don't cross the line. Too many teams, too many don't let the in my brain at the same time. But yeah, a great round for them and a bit of a shaky start from the side of MRG Garnet.
Yeah, I think what MRG Garnet needed to do in that matchup, which they didn't do, was counter what Don't Cross the Line were doing. Don't Cross the Line were being so aggressive and so hyper-aggressive that it sort of forced MRG Garnet into the wall. And what they did was they stuck by their plan originally. They can't do that. They needed to adapt, and hopefully we'll see that in their second map. Updates, by the way, from the other Championship Division matches, or the other Champions Division matches even, and APL Arbiter have just gone 1 down on Berlin Bonobos, so it's 1-0 to the Berlin team. Yapagino's 1-0 ahead of Establishing Team, and then Crecton Circus 1-0 ahead of Theseus. APL Seoul have just scored their first point against San Fran Slop, and they are going to be the way that the points have gone in Championship Division. And we've got one Challenger Division match just gone, and it'll be EC Shinzoku winning map 1 against Monkeys. But that's the way it's gone. Challenger Division running a little bit slower, a little bit behind the Champions Division. And well, that was a very, very hyper quick start to that matchup. And we will see what we are going to be doing, or what we're going to be getting in round 2. Are we going to be getting Don't Cross the Line still dominant, or will we get a fight back from MRG Garnet?
I mean, now you're an MRG Garnet, right? You don't have that bull ban anymore. That is a big spend, and it makes sense that they're going to be going to King's Row here, right? A map that is pretty horrific for bull, I would have to say. Of course, you can make anything work on any map. That said, it's a bit naive to not say that it is easier on some maps than others, and bull just doesn't have the width, the length, the maneuverability to really, or rather the space to make use of their maneuverability there. So it'll be interesting to see what they play. MRG ban, though, definitely says that they don't want any more of that queen at all. And King's Row, it makes sense. I mean, the ground tanks are even stronger on this map than I'd say than on Ilios. It's kind of their home turf. And Don't Cross the Line banning the BAP. I mean, interesting pick from them there. I guess they also don't really want to face the Reinhardt, right? Like a Reinhardt, if you have to imagine a map for Reinhardt, it is King's Row, the classic Rhine BAP, maybe even a May, maybe even a Bastion for goodness, extra points. That said, I mean, you did lose pretty heavily versus the last kind of brawl matchup. That said, it was a pretty unorthodox one. Queen versus Ryan, not typically something you see. So you have to imagine, are they going to try and bring out the bull? Are they going to try and bring up in response to that from MRG Garnet? Do they play a Winston? Winston can be fine on this map, or do they try that Reinhardt that didn't really have the right kind of oomph behind it? Maybe even bring out a Bastion. I don't know if you've been hit by the news yet, Carts. He's played this game for a while. Bastion is pretty strong. He's pretty kind of hellishly strong to face into if you are one of the more squishier tanks or someone that doesn't have a speed boost to kind of run away from that form.
We've just had a substitution, and it will be from Don't Cross the Line once again, and we'll be seeing Guildmaster tapped back in, of course, the Wrecking Ball player, and we'll be seeing Papa Palps ducking out. So I'm not sure they were particularly happy with the way that Papa Palps played the tank, despite the dominance that they had. So Guildmaster coming back in, and a change of approach.
It doesn't matter. It should have been a 5k with that queen up. 4k was not enough. Unacceptable from them. But yeah, I mean, the bull is a bread and butter, right? It's unexpected that when you have the option to play your main, gimmick or style, you're gonna bring that in. And Ana as well. I mean, I think if you would leave BAP open, Ana into BAP is great. Into the Kiriko, they're a bit more nuanced. You can't, again, the main thing is you just don't stack your big debuff, you don't stack your dynamite, your nade in with the ball slam so that the cleanse can kind of get a 3-for-1 cheeky bit of value there. That said, though, King's Row is a difficult map for Bull, but it is going to come down to can MRG, properly, and I do mean properly, mark the angles, watch out for the ball slams, and bunker in as much enclosed space as possible. Out in the open, it's going to be miserable to play into the ball, especially if that Widow sticks around. The Mercy to me, I mean, it's probably just for the opening shot out of spawn, but like a Pharah here, an Echo could be really devastating. Genji as well, like that dash in to follow up the slam. MRG Garnet, I mean, where do you want to play here? Probably just start on the high ground, right? Like try and give as much options to your hit scan as possible, then just slowly rotate around the map, try and catch out this backline. But if it's a Kiriko Mercy, gonna be pretty difficult. So your main thing is going to be marking the point, watching the angles, denying the ball slamming, and living until they make an overcommitment and you can properly punish with your relatively less mobile and short range heroes.
Already a switch. Widowmaker no longer represented by Imagine. The switch over to Ashe early on as they've decided to make the switch, as they get to see what the characters have been selected. The ball just waiting on top of the point at the moment. And Reinhardt trying to get the sends off on the ball, but we'll see what it is. And it's going to be a play that's going to try and take down the Baptiste. They're going to use this Wrecking Ball to try and counter this Baptiste-Reinhardt combo, and it's going to almost work. They're going to get the knockdown on Reinhardt potentially. That's going to be a lot of damage down, but they're not going to have enough people on the point for that to happen. It looks like this is going to be a defensive Wrecking Ball more than anything here, as it looks like it's going to try to be a straight counter for that Reinhardt.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see the issue, right, with the ball. The ball does not like playing as a close space as well. The ball themselves couldn't get much value. Everyone was looking at them. Everyone was kind of slowly just kind of watching in horror as this Ashe walks up to power positions. Now the Ashe has the high ground. The Genji has the side flank. With the support of this Kiriko and Lucio that can really do all the damage they want, because their ball does not need much healing. Ball's a very self-sufficient tank, and they can really pump all those resources into their DPS to make stuff work, and they just did, getting those big trades to open things up. Now though, can MRG Garnet avoid the same mistake? They will get their own opening pick and avoid the slam. So now they really want to try and get a walk up here. The ball's missed his turn, but just hanging back for the time being, trying to reclaim this space on the high ground and really close and nail down this defensive hold. But Ox gets first picked.
Heading through the bridge, the first time that they've managed to sneak through there, and it does look as though MRG Garnet are on the back foot once again. Don't cross the line, getting the payload starting to roll, and it's just all about trying to counter this Reinhardt Baptiste play, and that's exactly what they've been using that Wrecking Ball for. But look out, Genji's ultimate has just been unlocked, and once he's back in, he's going to be very, very, very scary to face. But there's a couple of ultimates, in fact, coming right in, and we're going to see in a couple of moments' time as the Wrecking Ball's down. Wrecking Ball is down. Huge play from Don't Cross the Line to take the control once again.
I believe as well, in the attempt to save their comrade's life, Virus may have Kitsune ulted directly into a wall, and I feel the pain. Trying to get the cleanse off to save them accidentally just puts the Kiriko, not exactly what you want it, but a big slam coming through from Poke. And that's the kind of momentum, the kind of hero plays you need to turn the ties that have been slowly kind of whiffing against you. But a minefield, can they get away from that? Just barely unscathed. Now they have Blade to deal with. Or maybe Rishi is holding up for the time being, because this Kitsune rush, they hadn't learned to just walk away from it.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting to see what's up at this point in time. But yeah, I mean, it looks very, very much open. Lucio getting the ultimate in at the perfect time, or trying to, and this is going to be very good for Genji. Almost fully countered. What a play there. And this is very, very open right now. Both teams have warmed up MRG Garnet much more into it than they were before.
Yeah, this map is already favouring English ball and waste of time. So I've had a couple of trades coming through. That's in between a rock and a half place to save the least there, but a lot of ultimate expansion from either side. The beat is still available. Actually, a hero play attempt here. Bob on the flank with the Ashe. Poke will try and pin it out of the effective range of his team, but they leave the Ashe, the main source of the threat, to take out their Lucio. Without that speed to run away, Poke is also caught, so can be desperate attempts to get a trade here, or just attempt to regroup. You still have both your own DPS ults available. Blade, though, likely doled by the beat, but Can you get the retouch here? They might get staggered, the Kiri and the Genji. They need to be chasing these kills. This is a big opportunity for them, but Bubs walks away with the kill. That's diabolical.
Absolutely huge. Bubs gets away with the kill on the Lucio. So that is going to be an open door for MRG Garnet to try and wrestle back the authority in this match. It's been very end-to-end. It's been very... One side will have the advantage and it will switch over to the other. And now they're trying to pressure the spawn point. MRG Garnet's just losing a couple of their players at a crucial point. And it feels as though Don't Cross the Line keep somehow pulling results out of it. MRG Garnet have had a couple of moments where they've been on top, but every single time it seems that Don't Cross the Line pull themselves back from impossible situations, and they've got the payload in the final area.
Yeah, I really like these swaps though, the Ashe and the Winston immediately paying up. Never mind, actually, that is still Imagine on fire, getting a 2K. I can't even talk about the swaps because they don't seem to matter in the face of this hit scan domination that's claimed the high ground is unshakable. A 3K? 50% to another Bob. They literally just used it, and mindful to cut off on these entrances. All MRG Garnet have is eyes on Bubs because he has the blade, but he's down. Imagine is still on a tear. 4 kills so far. The point getting closer and closer. And even mindful to get through and continuing to walk onto and a pulse on to worry about the whole time as well. Bubs has to have massive impact with this blade here. It's being let rip now.
It certainly is, the blade being let rip now. It's a final gasp opportunity for MRG Garnet to try and stay within this matchup, to try and stay within the fight, but the Wrecking Ball coming down as well, and this is going to be right on the point, and that's going to be Don't Cross the Line, right to the line.
Yeah, I mean, come on guys, we're going to need a name change here because they are going far and beyond the line with 2 minutes, and how long? 2 minutes, 27 seconds left to spare there. That third point was non-existent defense-wise at MRG Garnet. They just got steamrolled. They got staggered, kind of fight out to fight. And once Imagine got onto the high ground, they were just unable to be dislodged. MRG Garnet kept going out just too individually, too, stranded. And Imagine was more than happy to pick them off like a vulture from the sky. I like the Winston swap. I like the Ashe swap as well. There's lots more high grounds on this third point. I think as well the Winston... Clearly, the Reinhardt isn't working, and they're kind of just being forced to play so passively, but not really able to stop the point as well. The bat ban does really hurt them, I think, because they aren't able to have as much healing to just kind of bunker into these positions. The Winston, though, lets you act as this backline, stops him kind of just sitting there for free. But the Rhine on the attack, hopefully, can properly spearhead this aggression. They need to open up all the angles, or rather, take away these open angles from the enemy hit scan, from Imagine, is doing so much work. They need to find their way to create a safe entry onto point because they know Don't Cross the Line. You already see this ball plotting and scheming on the first hit. They already know the exact path MRG Garnet want to take, and they want to make sure they are as beaten and battered as possible before they get to the point. Because again, Reinhardt on point, pretty damn strong and difficult to dislodge. So can they make it there? Can they survive this odyssey and these waves crashing down to them in the form of a very, very aggressive, cheeky little hamster?
We shall see. He's been waiting, and there goes the jump down. Not as effective as he would have wanted it to be. The Reinhardt shield coming in clutch there at this point in time. Just managing to defend, just managing to keep the health up, and it's a very good rotation around the point to try and get to objective A. It's going to be very, very, very interesting to watch this matchup between these players now. What a shot. And Kiriko managing to get the save off. Reinhardt needing to be aggressive and needing to go it alone. There goes the Baptiste right back into the fight and right back into this matchup. Bubs just going and ducking back. Not got enough health to battle this, but the Tracer against Tracer, they're going to take each other out most likely, and then there's going to be a 4v4 fight right to the very end of, until the Tracers come back into it. The Reinhardt's on the point, the Reinhardt's trying to capture. Somebody needs to contest, and there we go, there's two. Wrecking Ball playing very patient here, which is not what you often see from Wrecking Ball players. You usually see them fast, and they should have been a bit more patient.
Yeah, I mean, tempo just comes alive there, right? Honestly, it's a real testament to the Sojourn accuracy, because you don't get a lot of chances to build your rail off as much, rather, as Imagine does on this Reinhardt. Can a Regan test come through? Unlike the rest of the team, not really able to follow up. The attempt is there, just for a second, though, as the ball will roll right back out. Does not want any more of that. We'll just try and look and set up for a bit more, a couple engages. Now, this is where the difficult part is, because this Rhine shield can really enable tempo and deny Imagine. We're seeing that laid physically out for us here. Because Imagine is not able to get any work on this Rhine shield, denying them so much value, because there is not able to take out as wide angles or high ground as possible. Now it's MRG Garnet trying to push the advantage, push forward. But the ults always are deciding factors. Degree lagging behind there. A couple of early kills, or early deaths rather, will put Guardian almost double their charge. Both Kirikos coming up already have the Kitsune rush. Oak coming up on the shatter as well, but Risu with the pulse bomb will claim the first kill. That's a massive one as well.
It certainly is huge pulse to get Guardian down. And the charge from the Reinhardt missed. He's down. He's dead. And that is going to be Don't Cross the Line, who have more players currently ready for the opportunity. That's because MRG Garnet are trying to regroup and attack, and they're going to try and go as a group as they did on map 1. That didn't quite work on the control, but it's going to work a little bit better, I think, on the payload. It's dropping back 3 minutes and 55 seconds left on their clock, and don't forget, Don't Cross the Line got there in 2:20 with 2:27 to go. The defensive wrecking ball still coming in, and there goes the ultimate. Is that going to work on the point? It's going to take time up, but it's not going to work all too well. It's going to get a couple of moments and a couple of big plays as well coming in, and what a play that is.
Yeah, the Shatter Jacks there. Imagine catches that in the nick of time. But all these early blows have allowed Degree to start matching this beat charge. Overclock on both sides. Still Kitsune Rush available. It was a great minefield to split off the tank and also catch that Lucio, the key target, often, unfortunately, the victim in this competition versus the Wrecking Ball. But imagine falling low. I'm not sure if I'm catching the trace on the shot though. Bubs hunting there. Felt the drops in the water of blood and was absolutely bloodthirsty for them. So now the key source of damage down across the line. Can they escape the tent properly here and get a proper attack assault in? I mean, you still have Reese with another pulse on. Been pretty accurate with them so far. Has a Kitsune Rush as well. But the overclock is their main source of anxiety right now. But Kritzkrieg gets caught from behind, unaware. The beat has to come out onto tempo, but a good trade there onto the Lucio. Both sides now missing a key member of their support line.
Yeah, missing a key member of their support line, and what a moment that was. What a steal that was of a kill, and that's going to be a push from the Hamster. That's going to be a push from Wrecking Ball, just trying to go aggressive again, but the aggressive plays haven't been what's been working. Yeah, that's a change of strategy from Don't Cross the Line. This change of strategy from Guildmaster, who's very much been the focal point of their defenses so far. 2:14 on the clock, and they've still got time to try and defend this one here. The Reinhardt charge to try and take it down, and doesn't quite work. Has to rotate back to the point, and it may well be too late, because all the other MRG Garnet players have gone down. Don't Cross the Line, win that little skirmish.
Yeah, I mean, on the bright side, the silver lining is you still have that Kitsune Rush. The beat is going to make it so that Don't Cross the Line can disengage from. As a Kiriko, like, you can't really engage onto anyone with your Kitsune Rushes. You'd like to have to use it much more defensively to try and keep someone up or to claim the space, because this is one fight territory for this point. But Guardian goes down again, a great headshot from Imagine. So do you continue trying to take the space here down your main speed boost, or just slowly back away? And Imagine still, every time this Rhine Shield goes down, they are there, the reaction speed on point. And Don't Cross the Line, they've whittled down this time from a 3-minute, honestly, a pretty impressive first point attack from a Rhine composition to now only a minute left on the clock. This could be the final fight here. It's going to come down to a beat. Virus almost lapping Kritzkrieg as well in terms of these Kitsune ult charges, and Risu hiding with this pulse bomb. The cast though, coming from tempo, kind of the X factor to shut down this ball, but Risu, oh no, that's the creepy down. Pencil as well, looking for the pulse bomb. Doesn't even need it. Walk into the explosive themselves. The Mindfield cutting both of the support line on MRG Garnet, but they will get a reset here. There'll be one more fight left in the tank for Garnet, but they're running out of gas.
They are. They came out strong. They tried to come out just like Don't Cross the Line did in the first play, but they were met instantly by a lot of patient play. So Don't Cross the Line very much changing their approach, but it's been very successful for them in this matchup. Initially, it didn't look like it was going to be. It looked like MRG Garnet were going to take the opportunity and really be in charge, but now it's all over to Don't Cross the Line. They have the massive advantage, and they have one more attack. Big play from Reinhardt. Big slam to take down a couple of the players, and that looks like it's going to be MRG Garnet's last opportunity. It looks like it's going to be their last play, and this looks like it may well be 2-0 to Don't Cross the Line.
I mean, you have one more overtime fight here. Walking into a beat overclock. You're coming with another beat of your own soon. But will it be soon enough? Time running out. Beat out. There's only 4 members here. This is the power surge. Can they sustain through it? They're so close to their own ults. Bobs has to pull themselves. They're still on the point. Still pushing it ever so slowly forward. Who can contest the point now? Guildmaster's so low. Getting even lower. Imagine has to come massive. And the pin is good to get off the point. The full-up fire strike as well. Poke is on fire. But Risu definitely claim one. Bob's firing back. Trying to shield off the beat, to shield every defensive option now laid bare to try and withstand the overlook, and it will pay off. MRG Garnet by themselves another sliver of life, another shallow breath to take because they only have another 1 minute 20 seconds going down so fast. Not only cap the point, but cap at the time, because anything else will mean that you are at best going to get a draw out of all this hard work. You still have that Deadeye to work with. You're going to be walking into an Ashe on the high ground, another Mike around the corner as well. And it's, oh, how should you get value from it? There's no one going to stay long enough in your sightlines how fast the comp is, so it's going to be all about trying to push this point, keep your Rhine steady there, and disrupt anyone else that tries to slow that roll.
Yeah, that's what you got to do at this point in time, and I'll apologise, so don't cross the line for commentators cursing it, as you would call it in lots of different sports. It would of course be a caster's curse here on Overwatch. We've got not long to go, 40 seconds as the clock ticks down. This Reinhardt needs to stay alive. The Wrecking Ball tries to jump down, gets a little bit of health, but not enough. Is this going to be the play that is going to make or break this matchup? Reinhardt versus Wrecking Ball, and the side characters, the side players just trying to sort each other out. There goes down the Lucio. Guardian's down, and that's going to be another one down as well. It's going to be Bubs down at the hands of Reisu. Still trying to scrap it away at these dying moments. Very scrappy is this matchup. Who's going to come out on top? Not sure yet. That Wrecking Ball's been slept. What a play from Guildmaster, and what a play countered by Poke. He's going to almost take it home. One more play, one more chance to try and take it across the line, but he's down. Lucio, a sole soldier in this fight. He's going to jump down. He's going to fall off the point. Don't cross the line. Snatch it from an unbelievable point. You can see how close they got to the end. Wow.
Yeah, MRG Garnet made them bleed for it. Blood, sweat, and tears, and every ult in the bank as well, practically. The big plays in the Rhine as well, but also this ball, the minefields, the ult rotations, the hits as well. 2 minutes on the bank they had left to spare. Even if they got across the line, at best, MRG Garnet could have drawn out, well, a draw, but that was like taking blood from a stone from them. And honestly, it's a testament to mental resilience to keep going over and over again when you have, you know, these big hits coming against you. But it is now going to have to be a reverse sweep if MRG want to start their season off strong, want to kind of situate themselves, you know, for crown contention here. But right now, don't cross the line. What line haven't you crossed? The GM convention is just around the corner, I'm sure. And with these minefields, the way they've been going, I would have concerns, to be honest with you. And looking at the rest of these maps as well, there's a couple of good anti-ball looks, to be honest with you. But I would have said King's Row is honestly also pretty difficult to make ball work into. So that confidence, that, you know, lifeline may be a bit more shaky now more than ever.
I think there's a sense of irony in don't cross the line just about holding on to that point by the skin of their teeth. They didn't allow them to cross the line, and that is incredible. We have now results from some other matchups, and we do have a victor for one or two actually now of the matches. They've just come through. Yapachinos have gone 2-0 up on the establishing team, APL Seoul and Nexia Circus. They have won their matches. APL Seoul 3-0 against San Fran Slop, and Nexton Circus 3-0 against Theseus. The last result that we've got for you is APL Arbiter have gone 0-2 against Berlin Bonobos, so nobody managing to level up.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to see the surrounding matches, but honestly, it's difficult to tear my eyes away from this one. It's kind of like looking at a car crash, because MRG Garnet, they have these great sparks, these big slams, these great plays. I even saw the hero play Tempo on the cast. I think got 2, almost 3 kills at the end there. They get Sunny Rush coming out line in the last moment. I think the super aggressive Lucio play there as well to try and take out the Kiri, trading the life of the Kiriko that almost had their own Sunny Rush in response was a big hero play. You can tell these players, they want this and they want to fight back, but right now it has just still continued to be dominant. It's not, of course, as not bad. Bad's not the right word to say, but as one-sided as that Ilios map felt. This felt a lot more like, the iron grip wasn't as much there from Don't Cross MRG Garnet, kind of a leveling up, I think, in a sense, throughout each of these matches. And if you aren't experiencing ball comps versus ball comps, they can be very disorienting, constantly just having ball come in, slam come in. Okay, we're chill. Actually, no, ball's going to come in again, another slam, another follow-up, another day, another slate for the ball team. And it's difficult to, in the moment, work out how best to deal with that. That said, there are some pretty obvious map picks here that I personally would go to versus a ball comp, but I don't need to jump out to you specifically, Cast, like something that you think would be a good place to make the potential last stand for MRG Garnet versus this wrecking wheel of doom.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a very hard fight for them to be back from the point. 2.43 meters was the difference. And I'm not going to make my predictions. I'm not going to make my calls because the call has been made. Circuit Royal has been chosen for Escort.
I mean, this is quintessential. Please stop playing ball versus us. Please stop playing ball. Like every time you go into ball team, you bring the Circuit Royale. It's almost a guarantee. It makes a lot of sense. It's such a long sightline map. There's not many flank angles or great even boot spots for that ball to kind of make work with. And it really is the home ground of just solid ground tanks, Sigma, Ryan, even Ram, with the hit scan, with even the double flex support, more greedy backline as well. That said, I have seen ball work on this matchup. I have seen it come through. The Widow Banter MRG Garnet. Okay. Makes sense. Widow is annoying on this map. This can be a good Widow's playground. The Sigma ban is, I think, a lot more of an effective ban, I'd say, because Sigma can really be super annoying to deal with on this map. Can really also has the rock to disrupt the ball, can shield off the balls engaged. And what I think most importantly, the thing we've seen the most lacking here is be able to poke out the backline that's supporting these balls engaged, because even though there's a giant, 500-pound hamster wheel in your face, ironically, that's not what's killing you most of the time. It's going to be that follow-up from the rest of the team, and Sigma is great at countering that. So I wonder, what's your other look there? Maybe a Reinhardt. Again, it's difficult though, because you are one of the less mobile tanks, and you have to commit a lot in with the pin and with your, your fire strikes. So Ramatra has a slow, has a shield in a sense. Orisa even, not seen her all that too much in this meta, thankfully. But, is still a good pick for that CC and for that spin to be able to try and, again, aggress onto this backline. But kind of getting away scot-free, it feels too much of the time, with all the attention this ball is taking for themselves.
Yeah, it certainly is. And make sure you get your predictions into the chat. Who's going to take the victory at Circuit Royale in the Escort round? Last time, the majority of you went for MRG Garnet. There was 737 of channel points lost in that last matchup. And in fact, until the very last second, it was like double. MRG Garnet had 737. It was like 390, I think, for Don't Cross the Line. I think somebody threw 300 channel points on right at the very death on the right prediction. And at the moment, people are predicting MRG Garnet. More people than ever before are predicting MRG Garnet. 830 channel points. And so you've got faith in the team that's 2-0 down.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any map you have faith on them, it's going to be this one. That said, we have seen, if a sub comes in, I don't know if a Queen's not terrible on this map. I don't think she's great, but typically versus a bull, in comparison, you imagine it does have a bit more sanity behind it. That said, with the way this bull's been playing, I doubt that sanity and logic are any things that, any even ideas that cross this team's mind, as most Wrecking Ball players are just slightly mentally deranged. That said, though, we are going to see a substitution come in. Degree out and Paps come in. I believe that's for the support. I believe Degree was playing the Lucio for this team in the past. So for me, that very much sounds like they're looking to play a double flex support composition of their own. Most likely because Degree has been coming in to play the Lucio. That's their main support. And I believe that Virus and Plaps are both flex support. So maybe a Bap Ilari, Ana Kiriko, Ana Ilari, Ana Zen, all kinds of interesting and wonderful backline choices that I think are definitely, this is the best map for that. So, you know, a strength on one side, a weakness on the other, definitely another interesting little dichotomy here for the teams to have to deal with.
You know what we need to see? We need to see Papa Palp's Brigitte play. That's exactly
we do,
what we need to see.
We do.
I feel like we missed out on it. I feel like
yeah.
we missed out on it earlier when we had Ilios and we had the massive great hole in the middle of one of the maps. I think that was a great prime opportunity for that to happen. But alas, we missed out on Papa Palps playing there. But he is going to be back in this time around, and most likely is going to be playing the main support. We will see what is going to happen in map number 3, and of course, it's match point.
Yeah, I mean, oof. How do you deal with this as MRG Garnet? I think like this is the most back and forth. Like, this is the most main oriented map in the game, like where you kind of just sit your tank on the main, denying that cart, denying that, and just it's a lot of push and pull when bull comps like to kind of surrender a bit of that main control and take a lot more of the fights around the sides of the map instead. Of course, the sides are very valuable, like for snipers and the more long-range characters to hold that range and also have carry potential over the game. But I wonder, double flex support, Circuit Royale, unsurprising. With a bull, more surprising. But I'm here to see it. I love a bit of double flex support. Maybe like an Ana Wu Yang. Maybe... Oh, okay. Not what I was expecting to see either a Marcher from Guildmaster. They're already in spawn, so it could be a bit of a bait and switch, but Ana Alari, pretty strong on this map. Never mind. Okay, Ana Alari still, do mind, just on the reverse rolls there. And versus Bap, Wu Yang, Freya, Torbjorn, and Reinhardt. Just all in damage, spam, numbers, just absolute raw anti-dive. But really here, Poke has to watch out for these nades. If Palps can hit a big nade in his backline, it's wraps, it's over. That's going to be the main important role for Poke to try and match. And versus the March as well, gonna have a lot distracting him with, you know, the big burly Omnic punching him in the face repeatedly, but gonna have to do his best to make it work. Double Poke DPS on both sides as well, so no aggressive flanks expected here. Of course, always on the table, every character has their own ability to flank. Maybe a flank Ana nade can be the option here, but right now it's just the destroyables, the placeable turrets being traded out for the time being.
Yeah, that just looks like the way that they're going to play this early game. It's not going to be too aggressive at this point in time. We don't need it to be that aggressive at this point in time. It will heat up, though, as they get further on and as the pressure ramps up on all of these players. And yeah, there is a couple of interesting compositions, as you mentioned. I mean, we haven't seen Hanzo so far today. This is the first time that he's been brought out. And, well, we will see how this one is going to work out in comparison to all of the other players and all of the other compositions. Yeah, a few new players, in fact, being brought out for this matchup. And Don't Cross the Line go for an almost entirely different approach. It worked in the difference between round 1 and round 2. Round 3, though, they're playing in a completely different way, and we're yet to see exactly quite how they're going to play. But MRG Garnet are going to try and go hyper-aggressive, but no, it's not worked.
Yeah.
It's not worked for the time being.
You really, Crits Creep built that window so fast, but just wasn't able to find the setup to use it. Like, if they used it out there to keep their run alive or make an aggressive swing, that would have been the win condition. That said, MRG Gun, you could see Poke's shield just getting shredded permanently by the damage of Don't Cross the Line. Weren't able to take a step back and let it recuperate fully because they were trying to hold the point down, but that's the thing with these kind of compositions, you really need your timing to be on point, your swings to go together, and especially watching this Ram's form. I talk about power spikes. With the Queen, it is the Queen shout. With Ram, it is definitely this Ram form. Once Ram form is out, you have a lot more space, a lot more room to work with and bully out the Ram and get to his backline. That said, both support was available on either side for ult side and across the line. MRG Garnet just one behind that, but a big nade has come in. Ramp is good to keep by the time being, but the Dragon separates them, but it's Guildmaster that gets taken out.
The Dragon trying to counter the Baptiste ultimate, trying to push them away from the point, as that's going to be a good play. That's going to be another good play. MRG Garnet, though, are going to be the players that will be making the good play at this point in time. They're going to push the payload a little bit back as Don't Cross the Line try to rebuild. We do have to have a look, though, at those 3 ticks on Don't Cross the Line's end. That could be very, very nervy for MRG Garnet as a big push is about to be built up.
Yeah, I mean, that Oh, well, the buying themselves a little bit of breathing room at the time being, with the Imagine being taken out of the fray. They will be trying to go on a little bit of an underground adventure here. Unfortunately, they do not have a venture to get into the background time being. Dynamite, again, stall and slow this down, trying to get MRG Garnet to build up their own ults. So they're almost now to 4 ults of their own. Eyes on this Nano Booster Ramatcha, and the Ilario being thrown out. Shatters out, only onto the Nano Booster Ramatcha. The Virus gives their life to get a trade.
What is going to happen is that's going to be a huge lunge. It's going to take them down. MRG Garnet have a couple of players down. Don't Cross the Line do as well, but you do have that Ramattra Ultra that's going to come through. That Ramattra Ultimate, even though if I can speak, and it's just the payload's going to go a little bit further down the track, but they are building up for a push once again.
The sneaky little grandma able to pair up with the Risu, getting the sonar kill across the map. Ashes, I thought I heard 2 dogs for a second, but no, she's the one on the field getting pinned away. But now Poke is alone. Shield getting broken, made blocks just barely in time, but gonna need a lot of help to get out of this time being. Gonna pin the Ramattra in. Is the help there to keep them up? It just barely will be, but still there's Ramot available. Gonna be slowed down because we need to get the rest of their team up and healthy. No ults now available at MRG Garnet. This is Don't Cross the Line time to shine, but Guildmaster's not gonna pop the ult. Expecting maybe some more help or some product there, but MRG Garnet have really fortified this high ground, this portion of the second point. They've knocked down 2 minutes off the clock, and now they're going to have a window for the next fight.
This part of the road is probably the hardest part of the road to get over, simply because you have that high ground. MRG Garnet automatically have the high ground right up here. Don't Cross the Line are having to counter push. Don't Cross the Line are having to try and do something in order to get through, and that means a mistake from MRG Garnet most likely will have to be the way that they find their way through. Nothing yet though from Don't Cross the Line. They haven't been able to make many inroads. Is that Hanzo ultimate going to be the difference? It's going to push them out of the way. It's going to allow the push through, and Guildmaster tanking through. What a play, and that has just taken them over the very difficult hill, and it's taken them to the next part of the point.
Yeah, the Dragon, just the perfect counter there. The antithesis to how you want to be playing is to dodge that Dragon, of course, but when you're all huddled behind a window, separated and wedged between a Dragon and a Ramattra ult, there is only one option, and it is to fall there. As well, facing this Nano Boost, they will have that Bob around the corner in just a moment. Shatter as well, that Freya Bowler to walk up with too. But double support ults, these are big play-making ults on the side of Don't Cross the Line. Maybe even Nano Alari for the fun of it, or not the fun of it. Your fun, definitely, but definitely not Garnet. Holding the point for the time being, but eventually someone is going to have to go contest the car. And Don't Cross the Line, that morning attempt just had their much just sit on point. The rest of them not aggressing too much into that space being locked down by this Reinhardt. And look, they've already crossed halfway across the entire this third point before the bomb's been unleashed.
Yeah, somehow it feels as though MRG Garnet have been winning these fights, but Don't Cross the Line has been progressing again. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. MRG Garnet back on the point, proving me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely a shatter of all time. Guildmaster gonna have seen it on in their nightmares, but that said, they had hold to both of their support ults. Kind of another Dragon as well. Last one was always so effective. Bob was invested there. Still 2 ults available for MRG Garnet, and they have this high ground to work with. They're still trying to work well, but Focus now just kind of sitting on the point. Shield running low, gonna be forced out. There's the wing out in response to the Ilario, but the nade is too good to catch on the post.
Yeah, the nade is too good, and it's going to catch on. These are plays that are coming out, and that is going to be Half getting a knockdown on Bubs. So just trying to wipe out the MRG Garnet team, but at the moment, this is very, very evenly matched. And at the moment, because of the fact that you can't be pushing that point back too much, that is the reason that Don't Cross the Line have been able to just keep it going, keep it consistent, and keep it climbing through. MRG Garnet will get their attempt in a minute, but for now, it is going to be 40 seconds for Don't Cross the Line to reach the line.
Nano, Bob, Dragon, all versus a lone window. Bob soon coming off of his break in a minute. 20% away for tempo. That's Don't Cross the Line. Definitely in the driver's seat for this one. Sleep goes a bit wide, but Trey's already coming through. Nano and Dragon. This is it for Don't Cross the Line. But tempo to the window. The hero in the time of move. 20 seconds on the clock. Guildmaster, his form has run out and it's time soon to fall down with it. Risu on the flank, can make anything happen? Has found one kill, maybe a second there. The anti is good, but the fire strikes getting a bit too close to comfort, and now he has to throw his body onto the point. Desperation. Bob, will he make it in time? He will, but it's a very, very slim lifeline there. Imagine has to get some miracle stuff here, and there's a Bob in their face with the majority of that playmaking ability. Virus will make it onto the point, but Tempo and their Bob, the dynamic duo, Batman and Robin of Circuit Royale, will shut that play down, deny the full cap from Don't Cross the Line, and this, I think you'd agree, Kotska, is the best MRG Garnet have looked all day.
It certainly is by far the best they've looked all day, and what they have done is crucially stop them from getting to the point. MRG Garnet, all they have to do now is make it to the point, and they're going to be able to get their point, get 1 point on the board. Lots of points going on, and lots of games coming to an end as well, and we'll just run you through some of those as we wait for this one to get underway and potentially 2-1 to be started. So we've got a few more results to come through. Our first Challenger Division match, EC Shinzoku win 3-0 against Monkeys. Then APL Arbiter have been clean swept by Berlin Bonobos, and Necton Circus have got Theseus as well. APL Seoul have beaten San Fran Stock 3-0, and yeah, Chinos are beating Establishing Team at 2-1 at the moment. So this is the game with the least points gone, but it's certainly a game that's looking a lot more even than it did right at the start.
Yeah, for all of the MRG fans gambling your houses away on Garnet here, I see the vision. I understand it. Because, I mean, they're going to run out on pretty much the same comp here. I think Bubs was not playing with Sojan. What was Bubs on? It literally was like 2 seconds ago. My brain has been completely rotten. My attention span is gone. Oh, it was the Freya. Thank you for reminding me, Bubs. Very kind of you. But that said, on the defense here, the only difference is going to be Zenyatta for the sign of Don't Cross the Line. Understandable. That Discord Orb on the Rhine can really punish him. His shield health gets a bit mismanaged, and you really get these nice fireballs across the map onto enemy snipers. An aggressive hold here from Guildmaster, using that shield nice and early, trying to stall the cart as much as possible and let his DPS and his backline get as much damage as possible. Tempo, again, coming alive in time of need, binding two. Okie dokie. How much you got there right now? Look at him have a pretty strong pace MVP already. Tempo's found 4. Oh my goodness. Ridiculous.
Yeah, they certainly do. That is utterly ridiculous, and that's going to be Don't Cross the Line on the back foot. MRG Garnet very much on the front, trying to climb up the hill now. They've got one more fight, I'd say. If they win this fight, then they make it up the hill. If they don't, then of course they're going to have to do it all over again, and they're going to be slightly further back. This is going to be a crucial point in this matchup. How much time are they going to be able to leave themselves after the hill, or even are they going to be make it? Are they even going to be able to make it up the hill in the first place? We will see. Reinhardt defending point.
Okay, no touch there, but we are really seeing here coming into fruition the dynamics of this background. MRG Garnet, they're finally getting to retake advantage of that pure raw brute force that comes out, because yes, whilst Don't Cross the Line have that X factor of the nade, and they have that big timing with their Remarch Reformer swing, MRG Garnet in the raw neutral have the damage, have the angles with the Wu Yang, can really, really punish any kind of inactivity from Don't Cross the Line. That said, about to get out to Sood, Nano around the corner, but Tempo, he's been let free on the back of the high ground, sniping Imagine out of the air, and he has the help of Bubs' bow that's going to walk forward with it, and it's thrown onto the march on Bubs. Not getting left out of the conversation as well, we're also playing another DPS for his checklist there.
Certainly will do. That's going to be another one down, and still looking to keep that pressure and keep that pressure on, keep that pressure alive. MRG Garnet keeping it aggressive, and they may well get the Ramatra down. They do. That's a huge kill, which means they're able to push further forward, and they may be able to get to the next checkpoint. They've got up the hill with relative ease, and they're almost there. The Reinhardt just has to distract on the point, but that's a huge play just to get that off. And well, this is going to be just it's desperation stuff at this point.
What? That was an incredible body blow there from Risu, wedging the Reinhardt into the window with their own ice block and the wall. I mean, after that Nano, it looked dicey. Don't Cross the Line. You could smell desperation thick in the air, but I think honestly it's still there. They have no ult coming apart from that bowler coming up, and MRG going to have 4 ticks the first window. to be unleashed as well, just to claim this corner for themselves. A shot on Guildmaster might be the end of it.
Yeah, it looks like it may well be. And 3, 2, 1, and that will be the point. They have made it to the next zone, and a little bit of knockback there. Reinhardt just trying to edge his way inside, but he's facing huge opposition.
Mabels though, keeping things interesting. Poke just gets traded out there, so what you expect to be quite, a nice speed for him. His car gets slowed down. Tempo though, gonna make sure it gets shaken up again. Passing finally tagging onto it and Magic this whole time. A real complete swap of the last scripts we had, to be honest. This Virus Nano could be the answer they're looking for. The Blizzard though, gonna be their first response.
Yeah, it's going to be the first response, and it's going to be a response that does indeed work. Oresu on an ultimate, or on fire even, and has used those walls to more effect than I've seen recently. All of those Mei plays that they've been able to put off just a little bit of healing off for those two who are going to be on the forefront of the defense as the forefront of the attack start to push in. It's going to be a full, real attack and potentially meta. Reinhardt and Baptiste starting to try and charge their way inside, starting to try and find their way, edge their way into the Circuit Royale building. We've got 3 minutes and 36 seconds left on the clock, a lot of time, but they need to pull it off, and they're not going to pull it off if their Ramattra, if Guildmaster goes down.
Yeah, Guildmaster went pretty aggressively there with that nano boost. Annihilation, but the window, or the lamp rather, was good to keep Chris Creek after pin is off from Poke. The whole team coalescing to take out any of that potential. Guildmaster's actually going to open the Diva there. I mean, with that kind of last play, understandable. Clearly, he wants to get aggressive. He wants to punish the lack of any main support, or rather, any more reliable kind of anti-dive counter into his background, of course, VM. Just served quite well as the main support of this team. Ult-wise, though, they are lagging quite a bit behind. 2 ults there. Actually going to be matched, to be honest, with the Bowler and the Window. So it's going to down to execution more than anything here. Reese also rattling towards the Blizzards. Going to need it soon because that point is getting awfully close towards the exit, but that headshot bug I talked about at the start of this match, and it is showing the hypercarry potential you can have. Virus, 2 headshots there from the Ana. This Grandma packs a serious punch.
Yes, certainly does. And Ana, I mean, a war veteran has really come to the fight here today. We've got we've probably got a couple more plays to go with 2 minutes left on the clock. So a lot of time MRG Garnet support themselves, but again, they need to take the push over the line. The Diva being used in defense and being used to soak up a bit of pressure, then pushing back, rotating just to get the heals off as they try to edge their way into the point. MRG Garnet have been thrown off by that Diva and by the rotate around. And this is going to be an interesting one to watch from MRG Garnet, because they've been able to, or Don't Cross the Line have been able to drag them away from the point. They're still giving it a huge fight. And Diva versus Diva, or Diva against Reinhardt even, who's going to come out on top? It's going to be the Reinhardt who goes down, and Diva who takes the victory. Don't Cross the Line really counter-punching, really in these late stages looking like the better team for the first time since that payload left spawn.
Yeah, and now for all the MRG Garnet fans that put, their whole lives on the line for this game, you're going to be sweating more than buckets here. Only a minute left on the clock and only the Bob to work with versus the Blizzard versus the Window. If you get in a situation where you are overtime on the point versus the ultimate, it's already over. You've lost. You cannot sustain through that opposition. Now, though, is there time to make something happen? They're close on the wing out, but they have to use that so defensively. And no one's really sent aggressively onto this line, cross the line, backline. Window set up there. Can the pick come through? Guildmaster trying to slow the brawl time being, but that's 1 ult down at least with no immediate kills. A sigh of relief, MRG Garnet, but they did lose quite a bit of space. What? Bobs? What are you doing there, Bobs? I mean, you get a couple of trades in response there. The Martyrs and the Bobs, absolutely massive. Arisu trying to go for an even bigger play of their own. The Blizzard is out, it's massive. The lamp is well denied by the wall, but Tempo gives the fans a sigh of relief. Just a moment to get their bearings again as this final fight enters. Diva Bomb versus the Wiyang ult. Who can come out on top? The trade though, spawn advantage right there, but don't cross the line.
Certainly is, and don't cross the line. And Desperate trying to stop them crossing the line, just like they were able to do in match 2, just at the very final few moments. And we will see what they get to do. It's being contested. We are straight into overtime, and D.Va is not going to be able to get the respawn off. That's going to be it, I think, for their defense. And it's just about going to be Don't Cross the Line who hold on. They have just got the turning point in that match, and they have just about held on by under 3 meters. It's going to be 2.6 meters separating the two. This matchup is so tight, but Don't Cross the Line have got their 3rd point.
That was incredible. Bubs, I don't know what that play was, but somehow it was enough to set them up. Tempo, beautiful headshots, following up on that unfortunate death. Getting, I think, what, a 3K hit, 3 headshots, like, not even headshots, sorry, 3 headshot kills back to back to back there. But I don't know if we saw it and we caught it on the stream, but the nade come in, the nano, the clutch again. Virus really was a superstar throughout that entire last 3rd point. Got some headshots of his own, got the bait name, got the nano to keep them up, nading onto the Reinhardt as well, meaning that as much as MRG Garnet's backline tried, they just couldn't keep them up, couldn't hold on to all they had worked for that whole time. 3rd point, Circuit Royale. We all know just how difficult it can be to get over that final line, but Don't Cross the Line takes that to a whole new level. And yeah, a 3-0, not what I was expecting, clearly, as I predicted MRG no, wait, this is I predict. I've forgotten how I predicted.
You did predict the right victor. You just predicted a close 3-2. And in their defense, and in your defense, it was very close. It's just that first point was so dominant. And then the second 2 points were won by, like, what, I think it was 4 meters and then 2.6 meters. So absolutely ridiculous stuff. MRG Garnet can feel hard. They can feel hard done by that it's not 2-1 right now to them.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that is the case with Overwatch sometimes. The scoreline can be very depressing, but it doesn't often reflect, well, not it doesn't often, but it doesn't always reflect the level of play that's going on, because that was a proper clash between these two teams and 2 different styles there, as I was hoping to see at the start of the game. They've absolutely delivered there. Of course, both teams played exceptionally well. This is only, as well, the first match of the regular season. Of course, you want every match you can to get the best seeding you can, but as we see these storylines develop, as we see these rivalries building, I can definitely see a rivalry building here between MRG and Don't Cross the Line there, because, again, a clash of styles, a closer match than the scoreline would represent as well. That said, Don't Cross the Line, it did just have, especially that first map, the dominant performance. They did have it locked down in the end, with, whether it be through a clutch or whether it be kind of through the 100-0 experience you put through on Ilios there. It's honestly pretty difficult to give out an MVP there, but I don't know. Honestly, I'm going to take a second to think about this. Do you have anyone that jumps straight to your mind? Because I think everyone from the side of both teams, honestly, does deserve their own shout out in their own way.
Well, I mean, I can tell you who Don't Cross the Line have nominated as MRG's MVP, and that will be Tempo. And I don't hate that selection. It's I mean, it was very difficult. It was a very team game today. It was very split, and it's difficult to call, I think. But I think Don't Cross the Line's tanks just played so well. Obviously, they did swap in and swap out. Guildmaster missed round 1 and then came back in. But can I give it to 2 players? Does that count? Can I give it to just the tanks, which is Guildmaster and Pout?
Sure. I mean, what can they do, huh? We can give them 2 MVP. So I'm going to wait, I think, on the team's actual suggestion as well, because probably that is the most accurate suggestion when it comes down to MVPs, is who's in the lobby giving that vote on that as well. I'm going to still wait for the time being. Wait, they nominated. They nominated MRG to be the MVP. Sorry, for Tempo to be the MVP of MRG, but I'm not sure if they've nominated one for themselves.
And while you think upon that and actually read the chats, I will just give a couple of big shout outs. One that you really need to check out. Of course, we've had many viewers tonight who've really thoroughly enjoyed, and I'm so glad that we've been able to enjoy the video. If you missed anything, if you joined in at the late stage of this, well, make sure to check out the YouTube. The VOD will be up Monday evening. So we've got just a couple of days, and then we will be ready and waiting for that one. And of course, we aim to stream every single Saturday, and if we can stream more than that, that's wonderful. We got a stream on earlier this week, so this wasn't our first stream of the season, this was the second. We've got a couple of we try to get streams on as much as we possibly can, and if we can do, then it's wonderful. And if not, well, you can keep up with all of the results. You can join the Discord, you can check out all of the various social medias. YouTube is the big one, of course, because you get to see the VODs play back. Now, I've killed you a bit of time. MVP, cool?
I'll just go the tanks as well. I'll cop out. I'll go both the tanks. It's difficult to call them, both of them had their own strengths. Both of them had their own big plays. And, even Papalak's played like 2 roles, that's impressive as well. That's also, nice flexibility across the board. But yeah, definitely keep your eyes out when the next stream is going to be appearing on our socials. Keep your eyes out on the Twitter, of course, and YouTube is recommended. It's always great to go back and rewatch. And shout out to all the players across all the teams, and especially, of course, from MRG Garnet and Don't Cross the Line, who've given us a great show for today. I believe, have we talked about all the other matches going on time being? I think we did cover the majority of the other ongoing match scores.
We did indeed, but I can run us through it nice and quickly now, because we did have one more final result. There was only one game that wasn't finished, but just to run you through all of the results for this evening, if we could get the bracket back up for the Championship division, that'd be wonderful as well, so we can get a point of reference of all of the teams and where they sat before today. So the Challenger division, there was one matchup, and it was EC Shinzoku won 3-0 against the Monkeys, and then ABL Arbiter kicked off their campaign by losing to Berlin at Bonobos, who will be taking their place in the top 12. Yapuchinos ended up winning 3-1 against Establishing Team. In fact, Establishing Team were the only losing team to pick up a round today. Yapuchinos will see themselves up to the top. And, I mean, it's very weird to see, actually, that we only had one non-donut score on our totals. Yep. Necton's Circus picking up 3-0 against Theseus, and then APL Seoul 3-0 against San Fran Slop. And then the Yapuchinos, of course, as I say, they won 3-1 against Establishing Team. And as I'd hope you know by now, MRG Garnet lost 3-0 against Don't Cross the Line. So we've got Don't Cross the Line taking that victory. And we had some good action on this evening, and we headed into it with the Brigitte clip, and we ended it by giving that same Brigitte the MVP, or the joint MVP, both of us giving it that way. So the swings and roundabouts, and I believe he's going to go and watch that stream afterwards. Have we got any final thoughts before we end off?
Just a regular shout out to all the people behind the scenes, Yappa, Ebroth, obviously doing great work for us behind the scenes. Another observer as well. My mind is completely blanked at the worst possible time, for our POVs and for our Ember. It was Ember, I believe, on the POVs or the free cam. Always great to get that double perspective, to see double the action as much as possible. And overall, an action-packed, an explosive and decisive day across the board on the mainstream as well, and with the rest of the regular matches. And we hope to bring you another one of those great, decisive, explosive days soon as possible, hopefully on the Saturday. If not, again, keep your eyes out on the social. And thank you very much to Cockcast for joining me on today's stream. But I believe that, this will be us all done and dusted for today's stream. Thank you all very much for joining along and witnessing this great piece of action along with the rest of us. Until then, have a great week. Bye-bye.
Free real estate.
And here comes the Brigitte clip. Wonderful to finish us off.
Nice shot.
Our MVP.
Tracer. No one saw that. Free real estate.